Chapter 91, The Concentrated Mother Tree. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Failed. Although this attack posed a threat of death to Zhao Wuji, but Han Tao still evaluated it as failure. The toxin condensed by the same frequency soul power can penetrate the enemy's defense and cause considerable damage. But what I put my hope on is the cold jade. Penetrating into the enemy's body, the toxin detonates, causing enough lethal damage. Han Tao was a little disappointed, but he was not depressed. Failure is the mother of success. At least he had some success, unlike a certain master who was sinking in failure and more failure all his life. The cause of the problem is very clear. The green phosphorus toxin is condensed by my soul power. But this cold jade arrowhead is an external object, and naturally it will not inherit my soul power frequency. Allowing external objects to have soul power characteristics is another major field. It is a macro field that Han Tao cannot involve and cannot imagine, the transformation between soul power and matter. You can imagine how profound and complicated this part is. Although limited to the theoretical level, Han Tao's lethality cannot be broken through, but as far as the current situation is concerned, he doesn't need to worry about anything. A weapon condensed by a soul ancestor can pose a fatal threat to a soul emperor, which is already a subversive existence. Han Tao. Yi Lingling's voice is as cold as usual, her expression is consistent with her voice, maintaining an eternal indifference. 2 days ago, I broke through the 40th level of soul ancestor. Can you give me some advice on which soul beast to choose for the 4th soul ring? Nothing is more profound than witnessing it with your own eyes. Han Tao's attack with soul power almost killed the soul saint, which she couldn't imagine. This is a theoretical achievement and a proof of Han Tao's research results. So this time when she obtains the soul ring, she will come to consult Han Tao's opinion. Han Tao raised his head and looked into her eyes, his thoughts searched in his memory. 9-hearted begonia, the strongest healing martial soul on the continent today, restricted by the rules of heaven and earth. There can only be 2 soul masters in the world today who have this martial soul. Han Tao thought of his own problem, and asked with a hint of urgency. Do you have any results in mental treatment? Yes. Yi Lingling nodded, yes. According to my observation, the concentration tea can restore a small amount of mental power. As the mother tree of the concentration tea that produces the concentration tea, it has the ability to restore mental power. The concentration tea tree is not that rare, however, this thing is very expensive. The concentration tea is 3,000 gold soul coins per gram. Although the concentration tea is not as expensive as the concentration tea, it is not much lower. The 10,000-year-old concentration tea mother tree costs more than 1 million gold soul coins. According to Yi Lingling's physique and spirit, he can probably absorb the concentration tea tree of 5,000 years, and he can get it for 700,000 at the bottom. Good guy. Han Tao looked at Yi Lingling with some surprise. I was wondering why you didn't say anything for a long time. It turns out that you are holding back a big move here. Can the soul ring of the mother tree of the concentrated tea provide spiritual treatment? Are you sure? Yi Lingling nodded solemnly. After hearing her, Han Tao hurried to the sect master's mansion and took 3 portions of concentrated tea. He opened the tea bag, brought it to his mouth, chewed it for a while and swallowed it. The loss of spiritual power is a little slower. It works, but it's not obvious. Having a sigh, Han Tao stopped worrying about it. 700,000 gold soul coins, it looks like a lot, and it's actually a lot, but Ning Fengji gave Han Tao 2 million gold soul coins. 700,000 is only 1/3 of it. How can there be no capital investment in research theory? Let's go. Have you chosen a target? Han Tao raised his eyebrows with a hint of curiosity. I don't believe that Yi Lingling came here without any preparation this time. Yaji Tea Shop. This is a new tea shop in the Tiando Empire. A tea-selling girl, who worked hard to run her grandfather's tea. In the small dark room, Han Tao heard Ning Tian talk about it. He still remembered Ning Tian's extremely confident and arrogant appearance at the time. This is the most successful investment I have ever made. I bought 200 grams of concentrated tea for 1,000 gold soul coins. Han Tao was quite silent at the time. The tea-selling girl was taking Ning Tian for a ride. However, later on, a change actually occurred. A small number of spirit martial soul masters discovered the effect of concentrated tea. Concentrated tea actually became popular and sold at a high price of 100 gold soul coins per gram, Han Tao reported to the sect leader, and then came to the elegant tea shop with Yi Lingling. The tea-selling girl received the two. Hello. Excuse me, sir and madam, what kind of tea do you need so that I can recommend it to you? Han Tao glanced at Yi Lingling on the side, and then looked at the tea on the stand. Concentrated tea, 70 gold soul coins per gram. The sect took kickbacks for purchasing. This was the first thought that came to mind, no kickbacks for purchasing. Not possible. Han Tao didn't want to worry about such a thing. He kept his courtesy and asked. Well, we have a big business, and we want to meet your supervisor. Can you introduce us to someone? Under the guidance of the younger sister, Han Tao and Yi Lingling met the tea girl mentioned by Ning Tian. Her whole person revealed an abnormal charm, which looked very strange. Oh. A big customer of the Seven Treasures glazed tile sect. She recognized Han Tao. Han Tao didn't know how she knew his identity. What's the matter with you coming here this time? Holding a cup of tea, she sat sideways on the chair with a sweet smile, showing her body curves perfectly. Charming. This is Han Tao's first impression of her. Well, we need to buy a concentrated spirit mother tree, about 4,000 years old. She straightened her eyes, somewhat surprised, by the concentrated spirit mother tree. Do you know how much it costs? Han Tao smiled. You know my identity. As the richest of the top 3 sects, the Seven Treasures glazed tile sect, money has never been a problem. Okay. He stretched out his slender fingers and took Han Tao's gold soul coin card, then he led the two to the tea collection place. The staff here greeted Han Tao and introduced them. Look. Can this tea tree meet your needs? It's a 4,619-year-old tea tree. Han Tao glanced at Yi Lingling. Yi Lingling nodded, then took out a chainsaw and chopped at the root of the tea tree. The soul ring emerged, and Yi Lingling walked forward and began to absorb the soul ring according to the process. The process went smoothly. How is it? Han Tao was slightly curious. After all, this is 700,000 gold soul coins, and Han Tao's heart is very anxious. Yi Lingling did not answer, but directly used his soul skills to verify his gains. The fourth soul skill, concentration. A transparent light emerged from the 9-heart begonia. Cool. This is Han Tao's first feeling about this soul skill, just like the feeling when he obtained the right leg bone of the blue-silver emperor. The incomparable coolness permeated every part of the body. These cool perceptions gradually spread from the body. A portion of it flows along the Ren and Du meridians and rushes to the brain. Spiritual power has recovered somewhat. Chapter 92, Spiritual End. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The mental power has recovered. It is not to reduce the downward trend, nor to stop the downward trend, but to recover. The 700,000 is really worth it. Han Tao smiled and sighed secretly. To curb the decline of mental power, for Han Tao, it is the continuation of life and the resistance to death. Yi Lingling's expression, which has always been cold, actually smiled a little. This time, both parties are beneficiaries. She has mastered the treatment method to restore mental power. If mental power can be restored, the fatal crisis brought by the distraction control method will no longer be urgent. Really, thank you for your help. If I rely on myself, I can't come up with so much money. Yi Lingling is particularly sincere. With a glowing look in her eyes, she stared at her fourth soul ring, a purple soul ring carved purely from gold soul coins. Yeah. Next, I will trouble you for a lot of time, as long as you don't mind it. Han Tao will not let her go easily. Healing soul masters, who have obtained the healing soul skills of spiritual power, of course need to study them. It seems that you have gained a lot. The tea-selling girl came over swaying. Her charming figure was fully reflected in her. Her eyes stayed on Han Tao's face. 700,000, it's really a big deal, but I don't know. What kind of expression will the Ning Zongzhu have when he knows that you spend so much money on a woman? Han Tao's smile stopped abruptly. He stared at the tea-selling girl. You are a bit too nosy. If it was just a tea-selling girl, she would never dare to make such a joke in front of the Soul Master, even if it was just a joke. The class system in Douluo continent is very clear and deeply rooted in people's hearts. Ordinary people are ordinary people, it is a mistake to look at it more, let alone to mock it. Ha! She opened her mouth slightly and chuckled. Then he turned around and muttered softly, "The Seven Treasures glazed sect is full of heartless men. You actually told me that you have no money, it's really ridiculous." Although the tea girl looked at Han Tao, her gaze was not here, but behind him, like her thoughts, passing through endless barriers and pointing to a certain existence. Han Tao was a little confused. Who is the heartless man in the tea girl's mouth? Ning Tian, it should be him. Ning Fengji blocked his salary, and now Ning Tian couldn't buy any gifts. No wonder the master proposed so many strange conditions when investing. So, the problem lies here. After understanding the reason, the two left the elegant tea shop. After returning to the sect, Han Tao prepared to conduct a detailed test on the effect of her soul skills. First, he summarized all three of his spirit bodies in his mind. According to the clustering of the distraction control method, a deformed fusion spirit body was constructed in his mind in the form of cracks. Try your new soul skill. After completing the above steps, he instructed Yi Lingling. The petals of the nine-hearted begonia were beautiful. Transparent soul power emerged and enveloped Han Tao's entire soul. Crack. Not repaired. Han Tao came to the conclusion. The soul skill of concentration cannot sew up the split spirit body. Transparent soul power can heal the spirit, but it does not guide the fusion of the spirit body. Even the soul ring of the concentration mother tree did not give Yi Lingling the ability to fuse the spirit body, because this is too advanced. Fortunately, it didn't happen, and it's fortunate that it didn't happen. Han Tao was actually celebrating the failure at this moment. Why? Because it involves the fusion of the spirit body, which involves the operating power of the spirit end. This is a very high-end and extremely terrifying power. This is a research direction. Involving the spirit body end, a large research line. The soul power frequency theory can develop a terrifying killing method of soul power penetration and frequency resonance. Could it be that, spiritual body, is more superficial than soul power frequency? Splitting the spiritual body is part of the spiritual operation. Fusion, splitting, proliferation, purification, all belong to the spiritual operation. The advanced distraction control method belongs to the spiritual operation. Splitting, and clustering and convergence belong to the spiritual operation, fusion. Take out the diary and record the information obtained. The transparent light is still continuing. Han Tao uses the known information to observe the changes in his own spiritual body. Is the spiritual body healing? The shackles of luck are broken. After the spiritual body is split, wounds will appear. These wounds and cracks are the source of spiritual power loss. And Yi Lingling's fourth soul ring treats each piece of spiritual body as an independent whole. Although it cannot fuse multiple spiritual bodies, but it can heal the wounds of each spiritual body. 10 minutes, the light dissipated. Yi Lingling fell to the ground, her face pale. Han Tao was anxious and hurried to help her up. With a slightly hurried tone, he asked, "How is it?" Yi Lingling took a deep breath and calmed down for a long time before responding. "It's okay. It's just that the soul power consumption is a bit large." Concentration is Yi Lingling's fourth soul ring. She has just broken through to the soul sect. After running this soul skill for a long time, the consumption is a bit unsustainable. After understanding the cause of the problem, Han Tao breathed a sigh of relief. This top-notch healing tool man must not have any problems, otherwise his 700,000 gold soul coins will be wasted. Small problem. I'll go find you 2 buns. After saying that, he went to the back kitchen. Recently, the Chibaoyoli sect has recruited 2 food-based soul masters. The food produced has the effect of restoring soul power and physical strength. In the original work, Oscar's first soul skill has the effect of restoring soul power, so this feature is not rare in Douluo continent. Oscar's 9th soul skill can restore mental power, which is a rare ability. Han Tao asked for a few buns and handed 2 of them to Yi Lingling. "Thank you." Her tone was very light. After eating the buns, he recovered. "This time it's my negligence," Han Tao said with a hint of apology. obviously, the sect has food supplies to avoid this problem, but he didn't expect it. Not expecting buns is a mistake. It is better to take precautions before they happen than to save the situation at the critical moment. Although the latter is more deeply rooted in people's hearts, this is just a detail that seems unimportant and has not led to any serious consequences. Most people will just laugh it off and will not take it seriously, but Han Tao is different. He has faced the threat of luck. While luck brings life and death crises, it also teaches him a lot, especially error correction in details. Pay attention to every detail of yourself, pay attention to every mistake you make, and make your plans and behaviors perfect through repeated error corrections. Not making proper use of existing resources. This is Han Tao's definition of this mistake. Food type soul masters are the resources of the seven treasures glazed sect and also the resources of Han Tao. Exhaust all the information around you, call on all the existing resources, and do your best to improve your strength. This is Han Tao's growth strategy, and it has always been his growth strategy. Chapter 93 Competition begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Use all available resources. This is the conclusion drawn by Han Tao. It is also the growth strategy he set for himself after completing the error correction. The same martial soul, in the hands of different people, presents completely different powers. 9-heart begonia, in Yi Lingling's hands, it is just a nurse. However, if Han Tao's martial soul is the 9-heart begonia, it is also one of the strongest martial souls in the world. It can heal the body and spirit. 9-heart begonia. It is simply a martial soul born for genetic modification and soul modification. Powerful treatment gives extreme fault tolerance, and fault tolerance means progress. With powerful treatment as the foundation support, soul masters can practice and study unscrupulously. In terms of early strength and development ceiling, how can 9-heart begonia be weaker than blue silver grass? It is a pity that most soul masters cannot reach the upper limit of their own martial souls. Let's start the test. It is known that the 9-hearted begonia can heal the wounds of the spirit body. If the soul master has a deep enough understanding of the spirit body, he can combine several split spirit bodies together and achieve fusion under the effect of concentration. Although the conditions are very harsh, if it fails, the spirit body will be deformed, and the consequences may be more serious. After failure, use soul shock to split again. Every time you absorb a soul ring, you have one more opportunity to practice. This is a road of no return. The spirit body is getting more and more split, and the fusion body is getting more and more deformed. Han Tao doesn't want to be a victim of the next stage. Gritting his teeth helplessly, he made up his mind to put this field aside for the time being. In October, Tiando Empire, the National Elite Soul Master competition officially began. Emperor Shui delivered an opening speech, and then Ning Fengji made an opening speech. After the MC presided over the process, he looked at Ning Fengji with a hint of curiosity. Master Ning, which team do you prefer? Ning Fengji smiled and nodded slightly to Han Tao. Seven Treasures team is the name of Han Tao and his team, which was ordered by Ning Fengji. Once people get older, they will inevitably have some strange hobbies, and Ning Fengji is no exception. Before Han Tao and his team competed, he specifically instructed. If you win, you can say you are from the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect. If you lose, you can say you are from the Seven Treasures Academy. Han Tao walked into the venue and looked at the crowded audience. The shouts were like endless waves, playing in the sky. Ning Rongrong stood aside. She glanced at him quietly, with a slightly playful tone. Are you nervous? A little. Han Tao nodded and admitted. Although I have trained for a long time, it may be the first time to play in a real battle. By the way, is it too arrogant for us to participate in the competition with this configuration? Ning Rongrong's expression revealed a hint of doubt. 3 auxiliary soul masters, plus a blue silver grass, and a soul-breaking gun. The personnel are not complete, and the configuration is messy. It's okay. Han Tao smiled slightly. You are a soul king now. Can you be a little more confident when facing those soul masters? But I am just an auxiliary soul master and I don't have the ability to fight. She took 2 steps back and shook her head repeatedly, then she said with a determined look. If you haven't beaten me, I will admit defeat. Don't expect me to fight them on the field. Humph. Turned his head away, but his eyes couldn't help but glance over. Han Tao helplessly spread his hands. Okay. I don't care what I want. On the other side, Shrek Academy entered the field one by one. Jiang Zhu is a healing soul master. She replaced Ning Rongrong's position and became a core player of Shrek. Master Yu Xiaojiang walked from behind the scenes to the front of the stage. He held his head high and was very proud. Tang San, I just looked at the list of participants. There is also a soul master with a blue silver grass martial spirit in the team of Qibao this time. When you face him, you will understand how correct the theory I taught you is. Tang San nodded. He did not doubt Yu Xiaojiang's words. As the saying goes, once a teacher, always a father. His feelings for Yu Xiaojiang even surpassed Tang Hao. Han Tao. Xiao Wu took the list of contestants, but she was a little confused. Why does this name sound familiar? Perhaps Xiao Wu herself had forgotten that she had laughed at Han Tao at the Notting City Junior Soul Master Academy, the little character who could be happy for a long time after breaking through the second level of soul power. She didn't care. At the same time, Han Tao also noticed the list of contestants. Tang San, a 36th level control soul master. Unlike the original work, Tang San did not break through the 40th level soul master. A bit weak. He sighed in his heart. Is it nothing without the fairy grass? That while sighing for Tang San, Han Tao was also recalling his past, using the meridian theory to break through the limitations of innate soul power, understanding the essence of the blue-silver grass, evolving the martial soul bit by bit, tempering the body with whale glue, frequency and, spiritual and, various things, unconsciously. The gap between him and the lucky darling of this world widened. Ha! Don't be proud. Han Tao warned himself. The purple demon eye and ghost shadow tracking correspond to breaking illusions and steps, which is a manifestation of combat ability. And I don't have that. All abilities need to be explored and accumulated bit by bit. The purple demon eye, as one of the few visual secrets in Douluo continent, has the effect of breaking illusions. It is naturally uncontrollable, but it is also more difficult to perceive the connection between illusions and mind reading. No matter what Han Tao is thinking at the moment, the Soul Master competition is still going on as scheduled. Shrek Academy versus Team 2 of Tiando Royal Academy. The referee's voice came from the top of the field. It seems that Shrek Academy is used as a stepping stone. I don't know if you can still defeat Tiando Royal Academy this time. Under Han Tao's gaze, the players of Shrek Academy and Tiando Royal Academy walked onto the soul fighting field one by one. As the referee's voice fell, the players on both sides summoned their martial spirits and prepared for battle. Blue-silver coil. The blue-silver grass emerged from the ground and coiled towards Team 2 of Tiando, but it was useless. The blue-silver grass of low-level soul masters is soft, weak, and fragile. When facing a soul master of one level stronger, the blue-silver grass is useless. The soul master who was entangled by the blue-silver just exerted a little force and broke free. How is it possible that at this moment that the blue-silver grass showed its decline, without the 10,000-year soul ring, the blue-silver cage soul skill, and the martial soul evolution brought by the fairy grass? The blue-silver grass is nothing, the most trashy useless martial soul. In the audience, Han Tao sighed slightly. The blue-silver grass has no lethality and no control ability. Even if it goes in the direction of treatment, it is still not as good as the nine-hearted begonia. Hidden weapons. As a preliminary killing, this path is right. The dragon beard needle in the sheet metal burst out its power. The characteristic of penetrating soul defense completely subverted the battle situation. But I really don't understand. Does the hidden weapon in martial arts need to be controlled by others to ensure the hit? Chapter 94 Application of Theory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The enemy of Team Qibao is Team Purple Star. The members of the Purple Star team are a group of students from Purple Star Academy. The Academy team is not like the grassroots team built by Han Tao. They are not short of soul masters, and they are neatly equipped, with strong attack, sensitive attack, and control support, participating in this elite soul master competition. The best among the many students have been selected to form the strongest team, but even so, they couldn't gather a soul sect. Yes, there are no soul masters at the soul sect level in small local colleges. Soul master can already be regarded as a genius. After both sides were fully prepared, Han Tao and others boarded the soul fighting stage. Hush! Boos came from outside the court. Lan Yin Chao, plus 3 auxiliary soul masters. Who is more capable of fooling around, right? Waves of ridicule reached Han Tao's ears. Han Tao's expression remained unchanged and was not affected. There was something wrong with Ning Tian's expression. His eyes were darting around the audience, as if searching for a certain figure. What are you looking at? Han Tao patted his shoulder. Ning Tian looked back. No. Yi Lingling covered her lips and joked, "You're not looking for the tea girl, are you?" Ning Tian's face turned red, a little shy, and wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl in, but in full view of the public, how could he escape? Just when several people were communicating and relaxing their emotions, the Purple Star team entered the soul fighting stage one after another. Seeing the configuration of Qibao team, their leader Zhang Wei frowned, with a hint of questioning in his tone. "You're not taking this game seriously." My college treated me very strictly, and I trained for nearly half a year for this competition." The person on the other side was nonchalant, as if he was here for fun, and he wouldn't be angry if he left anyone alone. "No, we value this game equally," Han Tao said. After finishing speaking, he summoned his martial spirit. Blue-silver grass. Blue-silver grass carrying 2 wisps of purple rhythm emerged in the center of the stage. At the same time that Han Tao summoned his martial spirit, the opponent also launched an attack instantly. Night Demon Wolf, possessed. A black figure ran towards Han Tao. During the running process, the possessed form of the martial spirit is completed, and the third spirit ring lights up. Wolf's Claw Triple Strike. The sharp claw tip brushed against the side of Han Tao's face. Han Tao saw the face of the attacker clearly, a man with particularly gloomy eyes, Jing Zhou, a level 34 agility attack soul master. The martial spirit of Night Demon Wolf is between medium and high level in strength. Almost. Han Tao smiled and his third purple soul ring lit up. Blue-silver grass seed swayed out, covering the entire soul fighting platform. The second claw is still a little bit close, and the same is true for the third claw. Why is this happening? Doubts arose in his mind. Han Tao's pace is not mysterious, but steady and precise, which is a reflection of the foundation of the center of gravity. Every time it landed, it was just right to avoid the enemy's attack. Blue-silver bamboo. The second white soul ring lit up, and 3 blue-silver grasses entangled each other, forming a fragile bamboo shape, very brittle and weak. Han Tao held the blue-silver bamboo in his hand, waving it around like a wandering knight. With great precision, he clicked on Jingzhou's calf. Speed comes from the condensation of explosive power. The blue-silver bamboo collided with his soul power and collapsed, but the power has been transferred, attacking to his most vulnerable position, the birthplace of explosive power. His body carried forward kinetic energy, but the strength accumulation in his legs was interrupted. His whole body was suddenly pulled apart and he fell heavily to the ground. Then he smiled calmly. This is the advanced application of physique and muscle exhibition. If his martial spirit is the 7 treasures glazed pagoda, then after the enemy falls this time, don't even think about getting up again. My martial spirit is not the 7 treasures glazed pagoda, so don't blame him for being ruthless. Taking advantage of the situation, he kicked Jingzhou out of the field. What happened? Fake match. Did you see the referee? They are fixing the match. Refund the money. RNM refund the money. The overwhelming sound came from outside the stadium, but the battlefield was not affected by the noise from the outside world. Martial spirit, chasing wind knife. The leader of the Purple Star team summoned his martial spirit and slashed towards Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong ran away. At the same time, Yi Lingling and Ning Tian were also facing the enemy's attack. Danyan style. Yang Qixin stood up. His soul-breaking gun Wuhuan played a vital role, isolating the enemy at once. Ning Tian's increase fell on Yang Qixin. At the same time, Ning Rongrong also summoned her 9 treasure glazed pagoda and recited a spell. The 9 treasures turn out to be colored glaze, and the 9 treasures have names. One is power. The 9 treasures turn out to be colored glaze, and the 9 treasures are famous. One said, "Hurry." 4 rays of light fell on Han Tao. You have been strengthened, go and deliver it quickly. He even heard Ning Rongrong's evil laughter. it is worth noting that these 4 rays of light did not provide Han Tao with a 50% increase in intensity, because Ning Rongrong couldn't decipher Han Tao's soul frequency. Han Tao's soul frequency was in motion and could not be synchronized. All buff and debuff soul skills cannot produce extreme penetration effects on Han Tao through the same frequency. Blue Silver Bamboo. Using the second soul ring again, he summoned the blue silver bamboo and held it in his palm. Bang! The blue silver bamboo hit Zhang Wei's soul defense and collapsed. You look down on me. Zhang Wei was very angry. There are 4 soul rings on Han Tao's martial soul, and the last one is black, which is far beyond the absorption period, but what did he do? Except for the 3rd soul ring that lit up at the beginning, he only used the white soul ring to fight afterwards. Blue Silver Bamboo. Han Tao did not look down on him and used his second soul skill again. Bang! This time, the blue silver bamboo penetrated his soul defense and touched his arm, then the bamboo collapsed. Success! Han Tao's eyes lit up. This time, it was taken from the soul power characteristics, the penetration and application of soul power at the same frequency. Soul power defense is invalid when facing soul skills at the same frequency. What? Cold sweat suddenly appeared on Zhang Wei's forehead, the wind-chasing knife fell to the ground with a snap, the power of the arm was cut off, and the source of grip was lost for a short time. Han Tao took advantage of the situation to grab his weak hand, half-throwing him out of the field. The audience exploded with a boom. Jing Zhou might be an accident, but Zhang Wei had no explanation. You threw away your weapon after being tapped with a bamboo by others, and you didn't even act. Damn it, it's a fake match, it's confirmed. There is no need to elaborate on the following process. Han Tao held the blue silver bamboo and tapped the remaining members off the fighting stage one by one. Finally, Han Tao looked at the referee. It can be declared over. The referee glanced at Han Tao, then glanced at the members of the Purple Star team who were thrown down, and the corners of his mouth twitched inadvertently. He gritted his teeth and shouted, Team Qibao wins. After several people walked down the fighting arena, Ning Rongrong widened her eyes and asked, How did you do it? Ning Tian and Yi Lingling were also a little curious. Chapter 95 Teaching. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ning Rongrong's doubts didn't seem to be fake. Han Tao stood there, looking at Ning Rongrong for a long time, trying to see something else from her eyes. She lowered her head shyly. Do you remember the soul power frequency you mentioned? Han Tao asked. Ning Rongrong looked thoughtful. One of the characteristics of soul power. You mean, what happened on the fighting stage just now is the practical application of soul power frequency. That she covered her lips, with surprise on her face. Han Tao smiled slightly. Not only that, there is another part of knowledge involved here. Muscles, strength, and external movements, according to the law of force generation of the movement, strangle the starting end of the force, thus forming an outrageous practical effect. However, to achieve this, there are 2 prerequisites. The first difficulty is, how to break through the enemy's soul power blockade. It's very simple, the theories are linked. Same frequency penetration can achieve a breakthrough in soul power defense. The blue silver bamboo is made of soul power, inheriting the soul power characteristics of Han Tao, and is synchronized with the frequency of the enemy. Even if it is extremely fragile, it can also penetrate the enemy's defense. The second difficulty is, how to know the enemy's force trajectory. Perception is the core of the core. Blue silver eye wraps around the entire fighting soul stage, taking the enemy's every move into its eyes, and only by taking the lead can you win. Behind the seemingly outrageous record is a practical combination of multiple theories, supported by the Perception Foundation. Ning Rongrong took small steps, little by little, and moved to the side of Han Tao. She whispered, I want to learn. Then, she looked at Han Tao with innocent eyes. Want to get it for free? Han Tao raised his eyebrows slightly. She is even more excessive than Ning Fengji. Ning Fengji wants to get the research results in his hands, so he will at least exchange them for other things. He spends money and resources, recruits all kinds of people, or comes up with theories that meet current needs, but Ning Rongrong is different. She just wants to get it for free. Okay. For the sake of 2 million gold soul coins. Han Tao sighed slightly. Ning Rongrong might not have enough face, but money was definitely enough. Han Tao would not go against money. Then he began to introduce how to use the knowledge in muscles, strength, and external actions to form an effective attack. A person's entire action is a combination of many microscopic forces. Blue-silver I can transmit body movements to Han Tao's mind from a third-party perspective, but Ning Rongrong can't do it, although the 9 treasures glazed tower made up for the inherent shortcomings of perception under the effect of DouluoDalu, but she still has no perception-type soul skills. Han Tao swung his arm slightly. For example, my swing this time uses the strength of multiple muscles such as arms and chest muscles. While speaking, Han Tao took out a whiteboard. If Ning Fengji were here, he would find that the one in Han Tao's hand was the one displayed in the sect master's mansion. Ning Rongrong took out the same notebook as Han Tao and took notes carefully. She had studied this book and had a theoretical foundation, so she could understand what Han Tao said. Ning Tian and Yi Lingling came over. Han Tao looked very professional. With the demeanor of a scholar, the two came over, pretending to study and get some literary background, but it was useless. Even if the knowledge was in front of them, what's the use of it going in one ear and out the other? Insufficient foundation is not enough. You don't know addition and subtraction, but you want to learn advanced mathematics? It's a joke. Han Tao drew the trajectory of his arm swinging on the whiteboard. The power transmission process changes at different stages of swinging. You don't need to fully grasp the changes in power transmission, but you need to understand the nodes of power transmission. At the right time and key nodes, giving the wrong power guidance can completely destroy the integration of the enemy's actions. Integration of actions. Ning Rongrong held the pen, frowning and thinking. After a long time, she raised her head and asked. You mean, such a complex amount of power changes and conduction, the external movement is just a wave of your arm? Yes. Han Tao gave an affirmative answer. This is the simplest one. If it is running, you need to coordinate the muscles of the whole body. To perform soul skills, it is necessary to involve the mutual influence of soul power and physique, and the knowledge involved is more complicated. Yi Lingling sighed and turned away. She knew that these theories were not something she could get involved in. Ning Tian still stood there. He was not a fool. He knew very well that the theory given by Han Tao would have a great impact on the soul masters of the 7 treasures glazed tower, but he couldn't learn it. He hated his playfulness in the past few years because he couldn't understand it and couldn't learn it. The VIP of more than 20 clubs is not as valuable as the value of a theory. Ning Tian was frowning. An embarrassing voice came from the side. Ning Tian. She called Ning Tian. What? Help me test it. No. Ning Tian instinctively wanted to refuse. He met Ning Rongrong's vicious gaze and shuddered. Say it again. Ning Rongrong was a well-deserved little witch in the 7 treasures glazed sect, and few people dared to displease her. Ning Tian moved his lips but did not respond. If you don't say anything, I'll take it as an agreement. He smiled and summoned his 9 treasures glazed tower. The light scattered, and the perception of a unique DouluoDalu shone down from the sky. The muscles and the body are completely different in static and dynamic states. Han Tao was itchy for a moment, and also summoned his blue-silver bamboo. It passed through Ning Tian's waist, lightly. When standing, there are 27 key nodes for human body support. Any disorder in any position will cause the soul master to lose balance. Ning Tian was hit in the waist, shaking and dancing, but in the end, he still relied on biological instinct to return to the standing posture. Ning Rongrong thought for a while. She lifted the 9 treasures glazed tower in her hand and said with confidence. 9 treasures turn out glazed, and 9 treasures have a name. One is, power. The first soul skill, power amplification, was displayed at the node on Ning Tian's waist. No response. She was a little confused. Compared with the last time, Ning Tian's movements this time were much smaller, and there was no reaction after just a slight shake. Wrong position. She lowered her head and thought, micromanipulation. A slight error can lead to a huge loss. Even a slight deviation in position or timing can hardly break the balance. Ning Tian is now standing, and there is no variable in timing, which is a low-level difficulty. He circulated his soul power again and applied the amplification according to the node instructions on Han Tao's whiteboard. It's really a powerful soul skill. Once again, Han Tao sighed when he felt the effect of Ning Rongrong's soul skill at close range. The gain in any direction and any strength is useless for a rookie, but for a master of micromanipulation, the functions that can be achieved here are simply unimaginable. Ning Rongrong is now a rookie. Chapter 96 Verification. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The National Elite Soul Master Competition is the best place for practice at present. Ning Rongrong and Han Tao are ready to use every game as a training ground to verify and improve their theoretical ideas. The next game is the Bailing Team. The team leader is a girl named Bai Jia, a 41-level agility attack soul master, and her martial soul is the Red Leopard. You come. Han Tao retreated behind Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong stepped forward and took out her own 9 treasures glazed tower, emitting the buff effect of 9-color light, radiating every corner of the fighting soul stage. What is this for? In the audience, Ning Fengji was a little confused, using the buff soul skills to complete the exploration of the layout in the scene. This borrowed from Han Tao's blue silver eye layout idea. In terms of effect, it is obviously not as good as the perception soul skill, but it can also achieve the goal. The 9 treasures have a name. One is power. That the light did not point to Han Tao, but fell on Bai Jia. The sudden increase in power and the wrong direction of the combined force of the body led to the deviation of the movement and the separation of the hands and feet, just like a child with polio adapting to his own body. Wrong guidance can deflect the force, and the initial force collision can strangle the enemy's action in the cradle. It's fun. Ning Rongrong jumped up happily. She used the same method to increase the power of the next target. This is. Tang San's eyes turned purple, staring at the fighting spirit stage, trying to find out some secrets from it, but for a long time, he still couldn't find the reason, so, he asked Yu Xiaojiang, Master, can you understand it? Yu Xiaojiang was also confused. The book Physique, Strength, and Muscle Appearance was once placed on the bookshelf of the Spirit Hall, but he had always ignored it. Yu Xiaojiang looked down on ordinary people and this kind of non-spirit research theory, thinking that these were not the right way. Without the study of basic theories, there would be no application of advanced ideas. Yu Xiaojiang couldn't understand Ning Rongrong's micromanipulation. It was also difficult to understand micromanipulation. What is more terrifying than ignorance is arrogance. He smiled contemptuously. Oh, Xiao Daoer. Turning around, he warned Tang San earnestly. Xiao San, don't waste your time on these useless things. You should know that the martial soul is the foundation of the soul master. Only by studying the martial soul can you take the right path. While speaking, he secretly pointed to the 10-core competitiveness of the martial soul on the bookshelf and stuck the Medal of Honor on his chest. Tang San nodded. Although he disagreed in his heart, he did not refute it. Once a teacher, a father for life always runs through his mind. Master should not lie to me, but... Thinking so, he pinched the hidden weapon in his hand. The experience of another world told him that the hidden weapon is the source of power and his foundation. Tang Sen used the hidden weapon to successfully defeat the Soul Saint Zhao Wuji. This is a Soul Saint with a martial soul. The last success will strengthen the belief for the next time, and Tang San is no exception. More exquisite hidden weapons. Just when Tang San and Yu Xiaojiang were communicating, on the fighting soul stage, the battle is still going on. Distraction control method, 6 orifices and wishful heart. At this moment, the 9 treasures glazed tower bloomed with its unique dominance. The offensive actions of the 6 soul masters were all under the control of Ning Rongrong. The 9 treasures have a name, one of which is power. 6 rays of light were sprinkled on the 6 soul masters of the Bailing team. The 6 seemingly ordinary beams of gain light are actually 6 different intensities, different soul power frequencies, and extremely accurate distribution of dislocation time. The Bailing team, facing such an enemy for the first time, was in a panic and suffered a great misfortune. The offensive actions of the 4 soul masters were forcibly interrupted. Some collapsed to the ground, some were fixed in place, and some were forced to open their hips. The remaining 2 soul masters were not affected at all, and looked at their teammates with some suspicion, not understanding what happened. Hiss. Many spectators on the stage took a breath of cold air. What happened? What did I miss? This is the 7 treasures glazed tower. What kind of idiot defined it as a support-type soul master? The MC looked at Ning Fengji with some surprise. This old man actually had such a trick up his sleeve. Ning Fengji tried very hard to maintain a calm expression, as if everything was expected. Don't show your emotions. Don't show your emotions. The surprise is indescribable, and the joy is hard to express. It was almost, just a little bit, and he couldn't control his expression. Compared to the surprise of everyone, Ning Rongrong was a little frustrated. She lowered her head and didn't dare to look at Han Tao. This time, she made a very obvious mistake in the operation, but the two soul masters were not affected. Position and timing must be perfectly matched to achieve the effect. Any slight mistake will invalidate the result. These two are the best proof. Han Tao stepped forward, took out the blue-silver bamboo, and tapped the knee of one of the soul masters. Just as he was about to resist, the condensed power was defeated by Han Tao, and he fell to the ground with a bang. As he fell to the ground, Han Tao casually moved him out of the field. Ning Rongrong muttered softly. It's not my fault. I'm not like you, with a perception soul skill like the blue-silver eye. It can only be said that the perception soul skill has a huge benefit for micromanipulation. The lack of observation means will only lead to one consequence: mistakes in details, differences in timing and position. Micromanagement is extremely demanding and does not allow any deviation. Mistakes in details will cause all the efforts in the early stage to go to waste. While talking, the two of them fixed their eyes on the last soul master. He raised his hands decisively. I surrender. From his perspective, Ning Rongrong killed 5 teammates in seconds when he came on the court. He was so strong and terrifying. In the entire bailing team, he was not considered a strong man, but he did not have the courage to fight desperately. The referee glanced at the situation on the field, confirmed with the last member of the bailing team again and again, turned to the audience, and announced the result of the game. The winner of this game is the Qibao team. As the referee announced, the audience outside the field shouted overwhelmingly. Ning Fengji also stood up and applauded. Look, they are cheering for you. Ning Rongrong opened her hands intoxicatedly, immersed in endless vanity. She admitted that she liked the feeling of being sought after by thousands of people. However, compared to being admired by thousands of people, what was even better was that Han Tao was right beside her. Ning Rongrong's face was red, like the fragrance of fine wine, with a hint of drunkenness. The corners of her mouth could not help but curl up. A small dimple appeared on her left cheek, and Han Tao couldn't help but stretch out his finger and poked it. She took the opportunity to hug Han Tao's arm and asked, "Is it cool?" Han Tao shook his head. Ning Rongrong was inflated, but no one expected that she could be so arrogant after being praised by the audience. Chapter 97 Entanglement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Qibao team's match ended, and they won the match in a crushing manner. On the Shrek Academy side, the match had just begun. This time, the enemy they had to face was the Blazing Fire team, which was composed of all fire attribute spirit masters. Tang San clenched his fists and looked at the captain of the Blazing Fire team, Wushwang, with a firm look. Everyone knew that plant-based martial spirits were restrained by the fire element, especially the blue-silver grass, without eating. Fire apricot jiaoshu, the blue-silver grass did not have the fire immunity feature, and had no counterattack ability when facing fire attribute attacks. Your luck is really bad. Wushwang led his team members and walked forward. He has a handsome face and a tall and straight figure. He glanced at Tang San and spoke proudly. If you were not a plant-type spirit master, you might still have a chance to win, but if it seems that you have no chance. A sneer appeared on Dai Mubai's lips. What a joke. There are 7 members in our Shrek team. Even if the blue-silver grass is restrained by you, what does it matter? Tang San's fighting power is very strong. Dai Mubai admits this, but he thinks he is stronger. Back in the Rose Hotel, he beat Tang San, and defeated him fairly. Wait and see. There is no point in saying more. Wushwang decided to prove it with practice. He straightened his collar and slowly walked to the fighting stage. The members of Blazing Academy followed the captain's footsteps and came to the fighting stage. We will go too. Xiao Wu was unwilling to fall behind. Several members of the Shrek team, wearing strange and aesthetic clothes, walked onto the fighting stage one by one, looking directly into the eyes of the Blazing team. the situation was tense. Now, both parties, please summon your own martial spirits. After the referee's voice fell, Tang San, Huo Wushuang and others summoned their own martial spirits. Martial Spirit, Unicorn Fire Tyrannosaurus. Martial Spirit, Evil-Eyed White Tiger. The most shocking thing on the fighting spirit stage was the martial spirits of the two team captains, top-level strong attack system. The strong attack system is the main force of the Soul Master competition and is also sought after by many Soul Masters. Blue-Silver Entanglement. 0.3 blue-silver grasses were born from the feet of Huiyun, Huiyu and Huowu, and the blue-silver vines swept up, trying to control their movement. Unfortunately, the restraint of flames on blue-silver grass is extremely deadly, and this restraint is all round and leaves no room for maneuver. The fire attribute martial spirit, the soul power operation makes the air dry and hot, and the fire element factor is permeated. Under such natural conditions, blue-silver grass is difficult to grow. The blue-silver grass that has not undergone specific adaptation cannot withstand any burning and turns into ashes in an instant. Tang San's blue-silver entanglement vines turned into ashes, as if they had never existed. They restrain my martial spirit too much, but fortunately, I have more than one method. His eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a malicious smile, and quietly placed his hand on his waist. The 24 Bridges Moonlit Night Soul Guide was opened, and he took out the Tang sect's proud hidden weapon, the mother and child soul-chasing gallbladder. This kind of hidden weapon has almost harsh requirements for the technique. At a certain moment, Tang San's right hand was like white jade, and the unique technique of chasing stars and catching the moon was performed. The two iron galls flew out at the same time, but in order. Although the initial speed of the mother gall in front was fast, the speed was greatly weakened. The initial speed of the child gall in the back was lower than the mother gall, but the speed was almost not weakened. The change of speed caused the mother and child bombs to explode in the air, generating extremely terrifying energy. Chasing the wind and catching the moon, it really lives up to its reputation. Han Tao's side, located at the top of the audience, the VIP seat of the Seven Treasures Glazed Sect is a reserved seat for the Tiendo Empire. The viewing field is wide, with close-ups and even replays. Han Tao naturally wanted to watch Tang San's match. Ning Rongrong was on Han Tao's left. She was lying on the railing, looking down at the overall situation. Do you like it here? Yeah. Ning Rongrong replied in a low voice, it's so fascinating to look down from a high place. To be honest, you look like someone. Han Tao said lightly. Who? She looked puzzled. The Pope of the Spirit Hall, Bibi Dong. Ning Rongrong could not deny it. After a long time, she shook her head. Maybe. Located at the top of the audience, the field of vision is the widest and the thinking is the most open. I don't like the feeling of being high above. I like to think from a high place. Ning Rongrong explained to Han Tao, and then cast her eyes on the field again. Following her field of vision, Han Tao's eyes fell down. On the fighting spirit stage, the Shrek team and the Blazing team were fighting in full swing. The evil-eyed white tiger and the one-horned fire dragon have collided with each other, stirring up a strong soul power fluctuation that swept to every corner of the scene. Once the game started, the situation changed rapidly, using the chasing stars and catching the moon technique. He threw out the mother and child soul-chasing and life-taking courage, completely destroying the combat effectiveness of the three enemy players. But the game was not over yet, and the enemy still had 4 players. Hating Tang San's means, his eyes were blazing, and his soul skills were performed with anger. 7 consecutive fire bombs. The third soul ring lit up, and 7 fireballs appeared in the air, pointing to Tang San and flying. Tang San took a unique step, flashing like a ghost, avoiding the attack of the fire bombs. Seeing that the situation was not going well, the Blazing Fire team directed the attack target to Tang San's teammates. Tang San summoned the blue-silver grass again. But this time, the blue-silver grass did not attack the enemy, but appeared under the feet of his teammates. With the power of the blue-silver grass, Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing quickly retreated to avoid Huo Wushuang's attack and let themselves move forward to form a narrow encirclement of their captain. Han Tao whispered, thought, and recorded. Blue-silver grass cannot entangle the enemy, but can entangle teammates, help teammates change positions, assist in attacking, or avoid enemy attacks. A pretty good idea. Han Tao praised Tang San's battle ideas. This is an improvement in tactics, which is worthy of praise. The fingers tapped lightly on the railing, making a crisp sound, which is a sound unique to high-grade metal materials. Can I apply this idea? For example, control theory. Assisting teammates to move. Although this ability does not look good, it is only relative to ordinary soul masters. The master of micromanipulation has the ability to turn decay into magic, and some seemingly ordinary abilities have a qualitative change in their impact. 9 Treasure Glazed Tower, increase soul skills, crack all enemy actions. Blue Silver Grass, Entanglement ability, control the position and movement of all teammates. Controlling the field includes control over the enemy, and also includes control over teammates. The Entanglement ability is innate to Blue Silver Grass. No soul ring is required. Tang San's first soul ring strengthens the power of entanglement, making Blue Silver Grass toxic. The entanglement power is fixedly strengthened, and as the soul master level and martial soul quality increase, the gain will decrease, becoming weaker and weaker. Like Han Tao's Firefly, it is a useless skill when it grows to the later stage. Use martial soul to assist your own actions. Han Tao's eyes light up slightly. Chapter 98 Progress. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the battle, the Shrek team has the upper hand. Although the Blazing team restrains the Blue Silver Grass in terms of attributes, it is difficult to make up for the disadvantage in numbers. As Dai Mubai said, the Shrek team has 7 members. Perhaps at that time, they had already made a battle plan. Using the hidden weapon Mother and Son chasing Soul and taking life Gallbladder, the opponent's team was quickly reduced in number, and then the Blue Silver Grass changed its position to form a 3-sided horn. A good battle strategy. But next, there is no need to pay attention. As expected, the Shrek team has won the game, and the next is garbage time. Han Tao turned his head, pulled his perspective back to himself, and began to examine his progress. What can I gain from this game of Tang San? The Blue Silver Bamboo is Han Tao's second soul skill. What Han Tao showed on the Fighting Soul stage before was the Body Control Soul skill, which formed effective killing, but Tang San's behavior gave him a completely different idea. The Blue Silver Grass, which is born with the ability to entangle, controls the movement of its body and forms an effective dodge. Controlling oneself and teammates is also the strategy of the Blue Silver Grass. From the body controlling the spirit to the spirit controlling the body, this is a change of cause and effect. In Han Tao's eyes, this is a huge tactical improvement and a presentation of the diversity of means. Then the question is, Tang San can obviously use the Blue Silver Grass to adjust the position of his teammates. Why not use it on himself to form more mobile strategies? Is it because the Blue Silver Grass spirit cannot control itself? No. Because he doesn't need it. He has a better substitute. Ghost Shadow. Tang San has Ghost Shadow. Shortcomings need to be made up, strengths do not need to be made up, strengths only need to be strengthened. When you have hot weapons, you naturally look down on cold weapons. Tang San only needs to keep learning Ghost Shadow, and the movement, advancement, center of gravity and other aspects within the range are all not a problem. There is no need to consider how to use the spirit to help your own movement. If the body is strong, no external objects are needed. At this moment, Han Tao quietly stared at the fighting arena, his shoulders shrugged, and he actually felt inexplicably depressed. The Son of Luck, the innate advantage is really too great. The Purple Demon Eye, brainlessly breaks all illusions. The Mysterious Heavenly Art, rewrites the innate cultivation talent. The Ghost Shadow, using the entanglement ability of the Blue Silver Grass to assist in its own movement. This is essentially the use of external forces. What's wrong with you? The girl is very sensitive to the control of emotions, looking over with a little curiosity. What kind of problem is troubling my friend? I have a new discovery. Maybe it's a new result. Han Tao was a little frustrated and told this unhappy truth. Oh. She was a little surprised and asked, you are still sighing when you have new results. What kind of bitch behavior? Forget it, this girl will cooperate with you to act once. She looked curious. Can you tell me more? Blue Silver Grass's natural ability to entangle can help itself and teammates move. Maybe the next training will require your cooperation. All plant-type soul masters should be able to do it, and blue-silver grass is no exception. The ability of blue-silver grass to entangle is definitely not as good as that of Ghost King Teng, a plant martial soul that specializes in entanglement, but being strong or not is different from having it or not. Okay. She nodded first, and then a strange smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. Ning Tian doesn't dare to refuse, but Yi Lingling is not sure. Her eyebrows were slightly raised, and her tone was yin and yang. Nine-heart begonia is also half a plant martial soul. Maybe she has other ideas. Han Tao understood what she meant and looked puzzled. Although she is also a plant martial soul, Nine-heart begonia doesn't have the ability to entangle? Humph. Ning Rongrong turned her face away. The transmission of force can not only be achieved through entanglement. Collision and oppression can also transmit force and assist the Soul Master's steps. While speaking, Ning Rongrong presented the 9 treasures glazed tower in her palm, turned her hand to grasp her martial soul, and with the help of the martial soul's suspended power, she actually flew up gradually and stayed in the air. Her body was not stable, like a person pulling a horizontal bar, and the center of gravity naturally dropped. No strong demeanor, that she frowned. Han Tao was right next to her, and she didn't want to make a fool of herself, so, the first soul ring lit up slightly. The microscopic force was applied to herself, trying to restore the standing posture and maintain the elegance of her manners. The body kept shaking in the air, and in the long shaking, it sought the instantaneous balance point. Han Tao was a little surprised. According to the setting of the original work, the increase of the 7 treasures. Glazed tower should not be applied to herself, but think about it. It is clear that which sect does not hide some skills, and everything may be exposed to the outside. If you want to make the amplification soul skill ineffective for yourself, it is very simple. You only need to change the release frequency of the soul skill to conflict with your own frequency, and naturally you can eliminate the gain effect. Soul power frequencies have the same frequency, and naturally there are reverse conflicting frequencies. In noise-canceling headphones, you can create a wave frequency that is the opposite of the sound of nature, completely eliminating the sound of the outside world. Ning Rongrong's practice this time brought a lot of inspiration to Han Tao. With the power of the martial soul, micro-operation to control the center of gravity can achieve flight. This is flying without soul bones, a real skill. Time passed bit by bit, and Ning Rongrong's movements became more and more stable, until she stood high in the sky. I succeeded. With boundless joy in her eyes, she looked at Han Tao happily and shared her achievements. Not only plant soul masters, but also the 9 treasures glazed tower can do it. Well, the blue-silver grass should be the same. Thinking of this, Han Tao summoned his own blue-silver grass. Suspend the blue-silver grass in the air, place it above your head, and then grab the vine with your hands. In a short time, the vine of the blue-silver grass was instantly stretched, and it broke after a bounce. It doesn't look like it's working. It's okay, 1 vine won't work, 2 can, or a bundle. Wrap the 2 blue-silver vines together, tie them tightly, and then swing them as ropes. This strange action reminded Han Tao of the monkeys shuttling through the woods and the leather suit man swinging on the spider silk. The result was failure again. Why? That the answer is obvious. Blue-silver grass cannot bear the weight of the Soul Master. Although the blue-silver grass and 9-heart begonia summoned by Han Tao and Yi Lingling are suspended in the air, it does not mean that they are anchored in the air. The ability to float depends on the soul power of the Soul Master. If it is subjected to downward force, it will naturally fall to the ground. At the Soul Saint stage, the physique and soul power are integrated, and the Soul Master has the same characteristics as the martial soul. At the title Douluo stage, the soul power can lift the Soul Master's body and achieve flight. Only the 9 treasures glazed tower is an exception. It has mastered the power amplification and naturally has the authority to control the Soul Master. It seems that you can't do it. Ning Rongrong hid aside and laughed strangely. Chapter 99 Comfort. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Blue silver grass is not good. Han Tao once questioned his martial soul, but the martial soul cannot be changed. Whether he wants to or not, he has to accept this fact. The application of force is mutual. The foundation of the blue-silver grass is on the ground. The blue-silver grass placed on the ground can indeed control the movement of the soul master through the entanglement ability. The only flaw is that it cannot fly, it is separated from the ground, and it is separated from the foundation, and there is no source of power. The blue-silver grass does not have the power of force in the 9 treasures glazed tower. Faced with the cruel truth, Han Tao had to admit the reality. For now, the upper limit of the 9 treasures glazed tower is indeed stronger than the blue-silver grass. It is much stronger than the blue-silver grass. Han Tao can only comfort himself. Fortunately, I have soul-bone skills. When I break through the tidal Douluo, these so-called flying abilities will not be important. Ning Rongrong's eyes reflected a brilliant light, and a bright smile hung all over her face, like a big bear who stole honey, quietly hiding aside and secretly rejoicing. Perhaps influenced by her, Han Tao's frustration was swept away and turned into motivation to move forward. She surpassed me again, how abominable. Although Ning Rongrong's success came from her own theory, but why, with the same theory, different martial arts would show completely different levels. Flying, whether in terms of style or applicability, is far stronger than the control of blue-silver grass. What are you thinking about? Her tone was gentle, but her expression was extremely firm. Nothing. Just some emotion, the terrifying difference in martial arts strength. Ning Rongrong smiled after hearing this. It seems that you don't know much about blue-silver grass. Han Tao didn't speak, his face was calm, expressing denial. Or you don't know much about plant martial arts. Ning Rongrong suddenly proposed a concept, and Han Tao pricked up his ears to listen. When it comes to blue-silver grass, Han Tao is still somewhat confident, but when it comes to the entire plant category, he is indeed not as good as Ning Rongrong. Botany and pharmacology are closely related, and mixed pharmacology requires spirituality, which is the so-called talent. Her expression was confident and calm. Her eyes flickered with a glimmer, her lips slightly parted. There are many things that restrain your blue-silver grass. Yes. Han Tao admitted this. Blue-silver emperor is restrained in terms of rank. Chilua tulip is restrained in terms of category. Then do you know that it is restrained at the attribute level? Han Tao thought of Tang San's battle just now, fire, that he lowered his head and pondered. Blue-silver grass is naturally afraid of fire, and it seems that fire is the most perfect answer. No, thinking about it, Han Tao couldn't help but think of mathematics. There are several solutions to the answer, and you only got one. The price is deduction, can't neglect another level. The earth is the foundation for the growth of blue-silver grass, and it is also the restraint of all plant-type martial spirits. Breaking away from the restraint of the ground and having the ability to fly is a kind of rebellion at the attribute level. The blue-silver emperor's right leg bone has a soul skill that is flying. This soul skill is a bit abrupt, but at this moment, it happens to be the perfect interpretation of the answer. The blue-silver emperor has reached the 3rd stage, breaking away from the limitations of the earth and completing its rebellion against the rules. The 3rd stage of the blue-silver grass is something Han Tao can hardly imagine and cannot touch at this moment. Ning Rongrong bit her lip, with a hint of envy in her expression. Han Tao, do you know? The ultimate martial soul is already the limit of the 9 treasures glazed tower and the 9-heart begonia. I no longer have any way to find a way to go further, but your blue-silver grass does. The evolutionary path of blue-silver grass is open from beginning to end. Breaking the restrictions of the rules of heaven and earth, blue-silver grass will be strengthened step by step, surpassing the extreme, reaching the god-level martial soul, and even surpassing the god-level martial soul. Han Tao shook his head. These are too far away from me. My blue-silver grass, the martial soul quality has just reached the advanced level, far from breaking the rules of the world. Rongrong, you shouldn't be so anxious. The 9 treasures glazed tower is already an ultimate martial soul, with a growth base of 0.9, and because of the special gem-type martial soul sublimation, it is not weaker than the god-level martial soul. Mastering micromanipulation, gaining the authority of force, mastering illusion, gaining the means of reading thoughts, adding the digital domain formed by perception, calculation, and control. It is no longer a beauty interpreted by strength. How could the 9 treasures glazed tower Be weaker than an angel? Ning Rongrong's tone was anxious, and she explained with her hands randomly. No, that's not what I meant. I mean you don't have to be depressed because of the quality of your martial soul, because the blue-silver grass is not weak. When she spoke, her eyelashes were trembling slightly. Han Tao laughed. He had misunderstood Ning Rongrong just now. Ning Rongrong said so much, not wanting Han Tao to help her study the evolution of martial souls. She said this just to comfort herself, but this girl doesn't know how to comfort people at all, she has no skills at all. Oh, really bad. Back to the rest area. Han Tao looked up at the screen, which marked the next opponent of the Seven Treasures team. Tsanhui College. Seeing this name, long-lost memories emerged in Han Tao's mind. The 7-gem team of Tsanhui Academy can build a 7-in-1 martial soul fusion skill, which is called the 7 Shura illusion. In the original book, something happened before this game. Shi Nian, the teacher of Tsanhui Academy, gave Tang San a set of soul bones. Han Tao couldn't help but feel a little amused when he thought of this. In this life, Tang San didn't have the energy to wait for the autumn water dew, and couldn't break Shi Nian's high-level illusion. There was no fairy grass to refine the King of Hell's post for him. Facing Shi Nian's attack, I don't know if he can survive. Probably not. Han Tao shook his head. Tang San couldn't stop Shi Nian's attack. This is his conclusion. But, Shi Nian may not attack Tang San, Shi Nian will attack geniuses. Tang San, who is level 36, performed a little well in the competition, but he is not a genius. Even though there was a quarrel between Tang San and Tsanhui Academy before, it did not involve interests and was not a deadly feud. Who is the genius? Who is the enemy of Tsanhui Academy? The one who is really in danger is me, Ning Rongrong. Thinking of this, Han Tao's heart skipped a beat. Ning Rongrong is Ning Fengji's daughter. If Shi Nian had some brains. Don't overestimate the IQ of supporting characters. That he really did this kind of thing. If they were not prepared, Han Tao and Ning Rongrong would almost die if they encountered Shi Nian's attack. Han Tao has no means to deal with illusions yet. Ning Rongrong is full of hope, and she is not afraid of illusions, but she lacks the ability to kill. She cannot pose a threat to Shi Nian. Whether he intends to attack or not, I should make some preparations. Adjusting his breathing, Han Tao walked forward quickly, gently knocked on the door of the lounge. Ning Rongrong. After waiting outside the door for a long time, there was no sound from inside. Han Tao had a bad premonition. Chapter 100 Shelter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey, I'm here. Just when Han Tao was worried, Ning Rongrong suddenly opened the door and jumped out of the lounge. She was full of joy, like a squirrel that had eaten a fruit, with a slight curl of her mouth. It's really rare to see you come to me on your own initiative. Han Tao covered his forehead. Don't make a fuss, there's something serious. Oh. A trace of disappointment flashed in his eyes. Our next opponent is Tsanhui College. I haven't heard of it. Is there anything worth paying attention to? Ning Rongrong shook her head, puzzled. Han Tao thought for a moment, and then realized that she had only been in Shrek College for half a day and had not yet come into contact with Tsanhui College. Under the influence of his butterfly, the world line has been sent to offset, and past experience may be distorted. Writing down this clue, Han Tao continued to narrate. The leader of Tsanhui College is called Shi Nian, and his martial soul is the spiritual remnant dream, who is good at weaving nightmares and dragging enemies into eternal illusions to torture them to death. Ning Rongrong's expression was a little serious. I don't know if it was because of fear of Shi Nian or for some other reason. Han Tao didn't notice. Ning Rongrong listened to every word he said very seriously. Shi Nian, there is a possibility that he will attack us. This is not an isolated case. In every year's National Elite Soul Master competition, many teachers of these academies will attack members of low-level teams. Tang San is not the first, nor the last. Ning Rongrong's expression was a little surprised. We are the top 3 sects. These attacked members have one thing in common, genius, and no background. If they are not geniuses, there is no need to attack. If they have background, they dare not attack. You make sense. Han Tao nodded. Generally speaking, there is nothing wrong with this view, but the problem is. Han Tao stopped answering. Han Tao and Ning Rongrong are two people who are targeted by luck. Others can be negligent and careless, but they can't. Every step they take needs to be treading on thin ice. What's the problem? Come on, what's the problem? Ning Rongrong hates punctuation, she asked with a face full of curiosity and eagerness. Han Tao didn't know how to explain the concept of luck. Should he tell Ning Rongrong that Tang San was the son of luck and that we had robbed him of his chance, so we were targeted by luck? Ning Rongrong widened her eyes and gently shook Han Tao's arm, her expression like a knotted ball of thread, one thread, two threads, entangled together over and over again. After a long time, Han Tao decided to tell her some truth. As someone targeted by luck, you have the right to know a certain truth. Han Tao rubbed his temples and reluctantly proposed a concept. Luck, do you know? Ning Rongrong slowly typed a question mark. Luck? Yes, for some reason, we were targeted by luck. Han Tao's face was a little serious. Ning Rongrong looked at his eyes carefully, and after a long time, she actually laughed, and laughed wildly. You actually believe this? Han Tao hurriedly explained. Didn't you find out that after obtaining the immortal grass, you have experienced many life and death crises in succession? That she stopped laughing strangely and began to think. After a long time, she slowly said the answer. It seems to be true. You mean, we are all targeted by fate? That she emphasized the word all. Han Tao stroked his forehead. Ning Rongrong is always like this, with inexplicable concerns. Yeah. Han Tao responded half-heartedly. After learning the truth, to Han Tao's great surprise, Ning Rongrong was not afraid, but rather seemed a little happy. What are you laughing at? Nothing. She turned her head away and avoided Han Tao's question. Ning Rongrong was of course happy. Fate did not target anyone, but just targeted herself and Han Tao. What does this show? It shows that she and Han Tao are destined to be together. If you don't believe it, look, fate is trying to bring us together. Thinking of this, she quietly hid in the corner again, secretly laughing. Han Tao couldn't guess her thoughts. Tiando Empire is close to the north, and the weather in October is actually a bit cold. Han Tao shuddered. In fact, he was very weak in his heart because he lacked the means to deal with illusions. If Shun Yan comes now, then Ning Rongrong and I will be finished, right? A gentleman does not stand under a dangerous wall. Time was extremely tight, and Han Tao had no chance to think. He came to Ning Rongrong's side, grabbed her hand, and ran towards Ning Fengji. Ning Fengji had Jian Douluo's protection, so Shun Yan could not cause any trouble. Ning Rongrong blushed, letting Han Tao lead her body and follow his footsteps. Tiando Empire, high-level VIP room. Han Tao and Ning Rongrong broke in. Master, master. Ning Fengji spit a mouthful of tea. On happiness and anger do not show on color. Ah, my book, my book. Looking a little anxious, he took out a piece of cloth from the soul guide and wiped the book. After a long time he turned his eyes to the two of them. Han Tao and Ning Rongrong were not as important as the book. What's wrong with you two? His eyes swept across Han Tao's face and finally stopped at Ning Rongrong's wrist, and he coughed twice. Han Tao was grabbing her wrist. Seeing the master's eyes, he realized that it was inappropriate, and quickly let go and stepped back. Humph. Ning Rongrong was immediately unhappy. She grabbed Han Tao's wrist with her backhand, forcibly pulled him to her side, and then stared at Ning Fengji with wide eyes, as if saying, "What can you do to me?" Ning Fengji's eyes twitched slightly. He quickly ordered the guards to close the door. As the door closed, he turned his head and warned Ning Rongrong earnestly. Rongrong, how many times have I told you to be serious outside and pay attention to the impact? Your martial soul is the 9 treasures glazed pagoda. If nothing unexpected happens, you will inherit my mantle. You must carefully weigh the pros and cons when doing things. Han Tao listened and felt something was wrong. How could Ning Fengji have the guts to be so talkative when he was developing towards Tang Monk? But fortunately, he was talking about Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong lowered her head and did not speak, but her fingers slightly exerted some force. Han Tao felt his wrist being tightened. Turning his head halfway, he met Rongrong's eyes and understood what the girl meant. He interrupted Ning Fengji's narration. Master, there are some things. Shun Yan from Sanhui College may come to kill Rongrong and me. This time he came here essentially to seek shelter. Han Tao's statement was absurd. Shunyan. Ning Fengji was puzzled. No, he is a soul saint, how dare he? In Ning Fengji's eyes, Han Tao and Ning Rongrong were not weak. Han Tao had Ning Rongrong's assistance, which was more than enough to beat Zhao Wuji. I think Shunyan, who was at the same level, should not be a threat. However, this also fits Han Tao's character, cautious, timid, and good at planning. He stared at the two of them blankly. Ning Rongrong's hand never let go.